Hey everybody, before we get started, don't forget to get your free 30-day trial of Audible. You can click the link in the description or go to mttpodcast.com and click the button there.
And you can even make 2 of your audiobooks, one of the Harry Potter books, 2 of the Harry Potter books, because we're about to talk about Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and where a better place to start than the original books.
That's right, baby. It's time for movie trailer trash. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Trailer Trash. I'm Bethany.
I'm Charlie.
And as Charlie just mentioned, we watched the trailer for
Fantastic Beasts.
The Crimes of Grindelwald. And I seriously always want to say How to Train Your Dragon.
Why?
I don't know, because there's dragon-like creatures.
Crimes of Grindelwald. That's what little young Dumbledore says, is Crimes of Grindelwald. Well, he doesn't say crimes. He says Grindelwald.
Grindelwald. Well, anyway, I've got some opinions on this one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, let's give them a little, whatever.
Well,
The first movie in this series,
let's talk about
Fantastic
that.
Beasts and Where to Find Them. Eddie Redmayne is a wizard, and he's got a briefcase full of monsters, and
they get loose.
And it's set back in the what?
The 20s?
The 20s? Maybe? I don't know. Old America. And he goes there, and all the beasts get out, and he has to go round them up. But the bigger backstory of the whole movie is that this guy named Grindelwald is posing as Colin Farrell, and
Colin Farrell.
And he's trying to coerce this gentleman, played by Ezra Miller,
into being evil, basically, with him.
Into being
evil. Because he has
an
amazing amount of power.
Because he's a big smoke monster that is not...
That's one way
that
of
normally in the wizarding world does not live past, what was it, like 6 or 7 or something like that?
And I think they're called an obscurus. And basically an obscurus, what we learned in the last movie,
it's a big smoke monster.
No, is a wizard who has tried to not use their wizarding powers. So they've denied themselves the use of magic for so long that it kind of builds up inside of them until they explode and become a smoke monster.
Smoke monster. Hashtag smoke monster.
And then they die usually. That's the thing.
And so
Eddie Redmayne said that they almost always die by like the age of 8, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I just made it from 6 to 7 to 8, but whatever.
Yeah, well, 6 is afraid of 7.
So, I mean, and Eddie Redmayne has actually saved a little obscurus.
Yeah, he has one locked in his case.
But it doesn't have the person. It's just the obscurus, and he's studying it because he wants to help save people. He wants to help save all the wizards out there who have been, denying themselves their power.
Right, so that's what's happening.
I mean, yeah, that's just a small part. He also wants to take care of all sorts of magical beasts. He's really into that thing.
Yeah, his original purpose for coming to America was to release a giant albatross type thing back to its homeland in Arizona.
Original homeland.
And but he ended up releasing it in New York because it had to spread the memory loss potion.
And I guess it knew the way home. He probably could have released it right away and been fine if it knew the way home.
The first movie was really good. The characters in it were really good. The quote-unquote action in it was really good. It was
quote-unquote.
I mean, it was magical action.
Yeah, but that's your favorite thing is that in this they actually fight. But in Harry Potter, there's really never any fighting except for
it's not
when they're dueling on top of the table in class.
I like the fact that they're basically just using their wands as guns now.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Not just as guns. I mean, they use it in many ways.
It's for the most part, they're just kind of,
zapping each other with magic.
They're pew-pewing with their wands.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, but that's what it is. That's what it's always been.
Instead of turning them into snakes or something.
But that's what it's always been. Harry and Voldemort, all they ever did was zap each other with magic. It's just that they both did it exactly at the same time, and their magic was so strong.
It was always at the same time.
They always snapped, and boom, their magic collided, and then they'd just sit there and be like, ah!
Yeah. And so the best character in the last movie, Kowalski, his friend.
Kowalski! Everybody loves Kowalski.
He supposedly got his memory erased, but he's just in this trailer. And
yeah, so, okay, and supposedly in the last one, I mean, they made it pretty clear that he didn't die, but for people who aren't careful and don't pay attention, a lot of people might have thought that Constance, the Obscurus, died. It looked like he died, but there was a little wisp of black smoke that went away. And of course, I was like, okay, so he's alive.
Right.
But I know there are people out there who thought he was
dead. If you don't know, he's just in the trailer.
Exactly.
Here,
that's what I'm saying. So the trailer definitely gives away that Kowalski now remembers and is just a part of Newt's team.
Yep.
Which, I mean, you can see that coming.
Right.
Well, first of all, they also at the end of the last one hint that he remembers.
He's making baked goods that look like the beasts were in the case.
But not only that, but they give him a case full of these extremely valuable like dragon's eggs.
Oh yeah,
because
and so to start his business.
He gets this mysterious case of eggs to start his business. He starts his baked good business. He's making them look like the creatures he's seen. There's clearly at least some sort of hidden memory in the back of his mind. And then what's her name?
Yeah, he's in love with Queenie.
Queenie comes into the shop and like looks at him and smiles, and he smiles back. Now, does he remember her at that moment? Maybe not. Maybe he just thinks she's beautiful because she is. But it was pretty clear, I think, at the end of the movie that both of those two were going to be back. I just didn't realize that they were going to so openly show Constance in the trailer. Yeah. I was like, whoa. Like,
and they really didn't need to either.
Well, I didn't notice the first time because everything happens kind of really fast.
So here, the thing about this one, it's the same people. The whole thing is written by J.K. Rowling, and it's directed by David Yates, who did the last one, and he also did Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows 1 and 2.
I mean, that is a great lineup.
Well, yeah, he's
those were
he's
great.
The Harry Potter guy.
Yeah, but those are like the best ones.
Right, because he came in at the end.
Yeah, great. Great stuff.
And so... like I said, the first movie was really good. The ending was kind of dumb with the mystical memory erase potion.
I don't think so.
That gets
it all worked
spread throughout.
No, but
the
it
city.
wasn't mystical and magical, and all of a sudden, like it wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh, of course you just happen to have this. They had mentioned that throughout.
A giant eagle flew a vial of potion up into the sky where it exploded, and then it rained down on everyone. And also got into the water system of New York City, and so everyone there forgot. It
made complete sense. It didn't come out of nowhere. They had been talking about this magic, this like little poison thing, for a long time, and how it works. I don't think it's
poison.
Yeah, it was. It was dangerous in small bits, I believe. It doesn't matter. Yeah, because he was talking about how like if it was a thinner concentration, you could use it in a healthy way. That's what Newt was trying to explain. But anyways, the point is, it wasn't like just they pulled it out of nowhere. It's not like that. They do a good job of having everything connect. And I will say this before we go into more of this trailer. Like, I have two kinds of friends. The kind who think that they might even like this better than all of the Harry Potter movies. That includes Charlie and my brother.
That's me.
And then the kind who hate this movie, the first movie, and thought it was stupid and boring. And that it was just pointless, and it was just him chasing a bunch of monsters around the city. And I'm like, it was just him chasing a bunch of monsters around the city, except that it's about the character development. I mean, you could say Harry Potter is just about a bunch of kids in school.
What I was going to say about the first one of these and all of the Harry Potter books and movies and everything is that J.K. Rowling is really, really good at making a kids movie or book that just has like a bunch of super dark adult things intertwined into it.
Yeah, it's somehow appropriate, but it doesn't feel like they're dumbing it down at all. It doesn't feel like they're making it.
It's like if you were to just come in cold to like one of the scenes where he's chasing the rhino around Central Park, you'd be like, this is a kid's movie.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
But then when you see
from start to finish,
what's his name, like flash back to him getting whipped by his like foster mom, it's like, geez, you know?
Yeah, everything about that is
Harry
really
Potter
intense.
is very much like that too, and I think that's why these are so good and unique, and why she's so good and unique herself.
Well, and I mean, that's something I read the other day about great children's books include sad things and hard things and difficult things because
someone dies in almost every Disney movie.
Yeah, and but somebody was writing about just children's books and the problem with authors of them, and that the problem is that they just want to make them all happy, and like that's boring for kids. Just like any movie, like generally a movie needs conflict, right? And that's the same thing with anything for kids too, but we forget that kids.
I bet that the ratio I bet that there are more kids movies where someone or something dies
than adult movies
percentage wise.
Probably. And one of the things that the article said was that Charlotte's Web is one of like the most popular kids books of all time, and it's super sad at the end. Like, ask any kid, like, how'd you feel at the end of Charlotte's Web, and they'll be like, it was really sad. And then you'll be like, well, did you like it? And they'll be like, yeah, I loved it. So it's like, kids can handle more than you think, and that's why J.K. Rowling's pretty good.
So now, pretty deep into the episode, let's start talking about this trailer.
Okay. Well, we'd mentioned it. Constance is in it. what's the guy's name?
Kowalski's
in it. Newt Scamander's in it. Queenie's in it. Tina's in it. That's the crew. That's the new crew.
But this movie is going to basically be determined whether it is good or bad on how much they use and how well they use young Dumbledore.
Yep, and young Dumbledore is played by Jude Law.
Who's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with Jude Law. I've always enjoyed Jude Law. Is he the best choice for Dumbledore? Time will tell.
Oh,
I don't know.
Why ask that question if you have no
because,
answer?
Well, my answer is I have my concerns.
My answer is,
No, I have my concerns. I mean, does he look like he could have grown old and turned into Dumbledore, like looks-wise? Yeah, I guess, but they didn't do anything
honestly,
to his face.
I think that it's way more, and this makes it so that it's probably going to be good. It's way more about the writing than him trying to do a Dumbledore impression, because it's just a guy with a big beard basically, and he just has to deliver.
I think it's a little weird that
because that line that he says in the trailer is a very Dumbledore line.
Yes, but here's the thing. He's clearly not even trying to sound like Dumbledore, but I don't know, like I was telling Charlie, I don't know if you can sound like Dumbledore, because Dumbledore doesn't really have like a specific accent. He's just old. He sounds old. And so since this is young Dumbledore, what can you do with that? So he didn't really sound like Dumbledore to me. And the other thing I didn't like is that they have him in like nice, super well-tailored suits.
You think he's more of a schlub?
Well, like he always wore robes.
Well, he's pretty extravagant in these. The robes that he's wearing are very, Grandmaster-esque.
In this trailer?
Yeah.
I didn't
No.
I was going to say.
In Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got
That's what I'm saying.
the big floppy long hat that goes all the way down to his feet.
That's in the first one, and it gets more gray and more Gandalf-like toward the end, obviously. But still, I mean, I just felt like, why? I don't know. Maybe when he was old, he was just like, I just want to get comfortable.
Back in the day, people wore suits all the time, constantly.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. He didn't look like Dumbledore to me.
Maybe the headmaster has to wear a robe.
Maybe. And so he just had fun with it, went crazy with it, got some crazy robes. But nonetheless,
you see the headmaster of the old school, and he comes out, and he's just wearing that white robe.
It would be cool if you could see. I wonder who the headmaster is when Dumbledore is young. I'm sure
that we should
if you go to Pottermore. I keep wanting to say Pottermore. If you go to Pottermore, I bet they have all sorts of stuff on it.
Can you say some more P's so that we can pop it on the mic?
But anyway, I think Jude Law's a great actor. So if anyone can pull it off, I'm sure it's him. And he didn't have very many lines in this trailer, which is good because I think they need to not give away too much. You know? He may not be in it very much.
To go to the next thing, I kind of hate Johnny Depp.
Okay, so this is a popular opinion as well, that everybody hates Johnny Depp now. People are over him.
Yeah.
People have been over him for a very long time because he's just always typecasted as the guy with extremely pale white skin and scars and weird hair. Like, that's it.
Is that a typecast or is that just what he looks like?
No. Ever since Edward Scissorhands, they're just like, this is him now. If there's ever got to be a character whose skin is white as powder, it's going to be him. Because his skin's not that white. They make it whiter in all of these things.
The main reason that you notice it is because he was imitating Colin Farrell for the first movie. And Colin Farrell's so much of a more likable, better actor than Johnny Depp.
Oh my God. And that's the thing. It was just like such
Even
a letdown.
As a bad guy.
Yeah, it was such a letdown. He was such a good bad guy because he was like a real bad guy, not like a creepy, like, ooh, look at me, I have scissor hands bad guy.
He wasn't a bad guy.
No, but the point is, Johnny Depp doesn't look scary in real life. He looks ridiculous. You look at him and you say, you're ridiculous.
So
but you look at Colin Farrell and you're like, oh my God, I'm scared of this guy. He is powerful. He is charming. He can trick people to think he's good. Like,
well, that's this guy's whole thing. That's Grindelwald's whole thing, right? Is that he's like a master manipulator.
Yeah,
basically.
Apparently, but he looked a lot better as Colin Farrell. All of my R's are L's tonight.
Blettle.
Yeah. So, but yeah, okay, so a lot of people hate Johnny Depp. I think Johnny Depp is a great actor. I love him, but I understand being sick of it. Sick of the typecasting.
I don't know about great actor.
No, I think he is. I really personally do. I don't think there's a thing I've seen him in that I didn't like. Except for maybe that Willy Wonka movie. That was pretty bad.
I never saw that.
Wasn't his fault necessarily, but it was bad. But okay, so one thing is I don't know. There's some like, I'm sure my friends would be mad that I don't remember what they told me about him, but apparently he's like a jerk or a scumbag. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
No, I mean in real life, Johnny Depp.
Oh, Johnny Depp?
Yeah. And so some people are irritated about that. I get that. But just in general, I don't care for the look. And the weird thing is he looks so different in this than he did at the end of the last one. And it's supposed to be like directly after it.
I think that in this one he's supposed to have been in prison for a while.
Oh, that makes sense. They would have arrested him right then, wouldn't they? So this is probably a couple years later or a year later, maybe. Because his hair is long. Like in the last one, his hair was shaved and all like Macklemore-y.
Yeah. So
Old
and
school
actually that makes
Macklemore.
sense with Kowalski. So he probably like Newt Scamander probably came back after however long
And gets him.
Yeah.
And is like, that's because there's a part in the trailer where he's like, are you leaving? And he's like, no, we're leaving or whatever. And then he's Kowalski's just like, yes.
Yeah. He had one
He's
line
so
in the
excited.
trailer and it was the most fun one.
It was the most fun. Okay, so
One word, not one line.
I would say if you haven't seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, give it a watch. Rent it. It's probably $3 on Vudu or something because it's really fun. So if you just go in thinking I'm just going to have fun, then you'll have fun with it. It doesn't, you don't have to compare it to Harry Potter. I guess that's the thing. It's like Chipotle and Qdoba. I like both. Why does everybody act like you have to like one or the other? They're literally just different places.
That is true.
And so that's how I feel about Harry Potter and this. This is great. Harry Potter's great. I don't have to choose one better than the other. I mean, this is just getting started, so
Even
give it some
though
time.
This is better than
in your
the other.
opinion. I mean, you will always choose something that makes you laugh over something that makes you feel. So, sorry, but Harry Potter makes you feel more.
Well, Harry Potter is supposed to be, and
It's
also,
emotional
by the
and
way,
moving.
there are parts of this that are very
Yeah,
emotional.
but nothing like Harry Potter. Even in the very
Really?
first book.
Are you sure?
Harry Potter's parents die. In the very, very first book, you learn about that. Also, he lives under the stairs and is a prisoner of his aunt and
Well,
uncle.
yeah, but I just told you about Ezra Miller and getting whipped by his foster mom
Yes.
and having to watch his sister get whipped by
Yes.
his foster mom and all
But
that
other
stuff.
than that, the most emotional thing that happens in the original is the guy
original
in the first one.
first Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that Newt tells Kowalski, "'Cause I like you, 'cause you're my friend." And it's sweet, but it's nothing like, oh my God, thank God for saving my life from Voldemort. It's nothing as dramatic and intense and emotional as, looking the monster who killed your mother in the eyes.
And I think that might be
I'm just saying.
one of the reasons why I like this more is because everything isn't running through someone who just happens to be the key to everything.
Yeah,
You know what I
but-
mean? Like this guy is I mean, he's kind of accidentally stumbled across it, but
Yeah,
he's
not like
he
some
was sent on
destined-
a mission
He's-
to go do whatever he was going to do, and then
I think
came
he
across
chose that mission. I think that was just a personal mission.
Yeah, that's
He
something
did-
that he
yeah.
wanted to do, and then he came across this, and then he did his best to stop it, and all of this stuff.
Yeah, he just
and
kind of
also
fell
he's
into
not
it.
like, which a lot of people complain about with Star Wars, is that this guy is not the greatest wizard in the history of
and
wizards.
I get it.
You know what I
Not-
mean?
Absolutely, I get that not every story has to be like they're the chosen one. However, in fairness, you can't say it's bad because that's the plot. Because
No, I'm
some
saying
of the
I just
best
like
movies
this
in
more
history,
because of that.
some of the best movies in history started with like "You're the one," The Matrix, Harry Potter. I'll go on when I think up a list. But I'm just saying, like, there's always like this person who's destined to be great. Like that's a trope, yes, but it's a good one because it's interesting and meaningful. This idea of fate. I mean, it's something that humans think about all the time. Is there a fate? Do we have a destiny?
I like the idea more of stepping up to a challenge that you weren't ready for than
Yeah.
you have been. This is your purpose and has been your purpose
Yes.
forever.
And so it's just a difference of opinion of what you prefer. And that's why I'm saying, can we just like them both?
No.
Don't tell me
No.
you don't love Harry Potter. Don't tell me you don't love
I
it.
like Harry Potter.
Now, you may not have loved the
I don't
first
know
couple
about
movies.
love Harry Potter,
You may
but I
not
do
have-
like Harry Potter.
You love it.
It's very good.
When you watch it, you enjoy it so much.
yeah.
And it's one of the few movies that you're willing to watch again and like listen to the book after you watched all the movies. Like, listen to the book on Audible.
On Audible.
But for real, you and I have listened to those books. They're great.
Mm.
J.K. Rowling is an excellent writer.
Is it Rowling or Rowling? Because I say Rowling all the time.
I say Rowling. Doesn't matter.
One's better than the other.
I think it's
Rowling.
It's probably Rowling, but
say them in a British accent. See which one sounds right.
J.K. Rowling.
Rowling. I think it's Rowling.
But anyway, we digress. I definitely think that both Harry Potter movies and Fantastic Beasts movies are going to be good. We have yet to see like how they do the sequence, but I like that they've built this great cast of people with these 2 women and these 2 men. You've got the 3 Americans and the 1 British wizard, and the American wizards and the British wizards, they do things so differently, just like, American people and British people today. A lot of things are very, very different. People? Yeah, they are, Anyway, they do things very, very different, which is interesting, like an interesting dynamic. And now we're going to get to see young Dumbledore. I don't really get Grindelwald. Like, why, other than him just being evil, like, why is he evil? What made him this way?
I mean, I'm sure you're going to get to see what his crimes were.
And, so we'll see. But I really, really hope that Colin Farrell's in it. And I don't think he is. I'm sure we could look it up and they'd say whether he was in it on IMDb.
I don't believe he is.
But here's the thing. Grindelwald had to have had the man who is Colin Farrell, the actual man who is Colin Farrell, locked up somewhere. He had to be making a polyjuice potion to be him.
He didn't have to. It's all just mad. It's just whatever she feels like writing. She could just be like, no, he knows how to do that.
I think here's the thing. Colin Farrell is too amazing at this role. I thought when I first saw the trailer for the first one, I thought Colin Farrell is a weird choice for a wizard. Like I thought, like there's no way he's gonna fit into this really magical world, and he fits so well. He was so compelling as that character, and that character was Grindelwald. But Colin Farrell was the actor. It was coming forth from him. I want to see more of him. I wish he could be in the wizarding world. Again, I want to see that.
All right, well, let's move on to where, when, and how you're going to see this movie.
Where, when, how?
Are you going to see this movie? All right, where, when, and how you're going to see it. I am going to see it in the movie theater at some point, somewhere, somehow, and probably not opening night, but maybe. Who knows? Because I don't think that these ones are nearly as popular as the other Harry Potter ones. Let me check real quick.
You're a lot less likely to get the crazy fans ruining a movie for you in these.
It comes out in November.
Oh, wow. It's so far away.
November 16th. So, that won't be a very busy time for other stuff, I don't think.
It'll be before we get to the holiday, the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah.
So
and Christmas and
like
stuff
a couple
like
weekends
that.
Before. So
yeah, so I think that'll be a good time to go see it in the theater. That's a good release date for this one.
I absolutely want to see it in the theater. The last one we waited a while to see it, and then when we finally saw it, we were just like, oh, that was so good. It was so fun. I don't want to waste any time. Let's just watch it, opening weekend sometime. It doesn't matter. Like you said, it doesn't matter if it's opening night. But we should definitely watch it right away. And I think we should watch the first one first. Like we should either go buy it or rent it and have like a watch party.
I'm into that.
Because it's so fun. That's the thing. It is a totally different feel than Harry Potter. It is not nearly as heavy. Even with the whipping of the child and stuff. It's still so lighthearted because
But it's also kind of about in the first one, it's not about this, but this is another underlying thing that they have is like civil rights type stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's the whole thing is like the whole point of Ezra Miller's character and his abilities is that you feel so much shame for yourself because other people hate you that it turns into a monster. Like that's kind of the symbolism that's happening.
Well, and also Newt Scamander's character is very outspoken about how he views the way that American wizards treat Muggles or no-mages.
Yeah, no-mage. Which, by the way, nah.
I'm cool with it. I very quickly got used to it in the movie that they call him no-mage. I mean, we're American. Our words are less fun a lot of times. A lot of times. The buggy, the boot, the lift, those are all more fun.
No, well, they would be more fun. They wouldn't be more fun if you were English and you grew up with them.
No-mage is probably super fun to all those British people.
No-mage.
But here's the thing. They have a lot of really screwed up way of thinking about Muggles. Like they don't allow wizards to marry Muggles,
or even talk to them.
And think about like how many amazing wizards wouldn't be at Hogwarts if that were the case. Like, it's not fair. And also, why on earth would you ever tell anybody who they can love? And so
that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the whole point. So I do think there's some interesting stuff, some underlying tones in that. And that's why it's a little unfortunate that they didn't go with Dumbledore being gay and having a past relationship with Grindelwald, which has been heavily implied by J.K. Rowling, but they refused to put in the movie, which is a little bit their chicken.
I think that
they're
chicken. Not going to just outright say it, but they're going to allude to it. And that was just
dumb.
That was just talking about this movie. So it might come up later because there's 3 or 4 more of these after this one.
The director specifically said, I wouldn't say that they were ever in love per se. I mean, he was in love with his mind. It's like, that sounds like something that a homophobe would say when they don't want to admit that 2 guys liked each other. They just loved each other's mind. Yeah, and probably each other's body too. It's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so that's one little thing, but because it would work so well, like, especially because they've already talked a little bit about that, like, how you can't tell people who they should love type of thing. And that's another thing. Queenie is a wizard, and she very clearly likes, I can't remember his name. Kowalski. Thank you. I can never remember his name. What's his first name?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I think they just call him Kowalski the whole time.
Kowalski clearly likes her. And so they live in a world where that's not okay, but they're about to go to
Jacob.
I think they're going to go to Britain, and then it's okay. So get with it, man.
You know what kind of sucks?
What?
Is that a thing that I really liked about the first one, and then we'll move on to the Rotten Tomatoes after this. But the thing I really liked about the first one was that it was in New York, and it was this whole part that you'd never seen before of the Wizarding area, and now you're just kind of going right back to this part that you've seen a whole bunch.
But you haven't seen it because this is 1920s, Hogwarts.
But it's a castle. How much could it have changed?
A lot.
Yeah,
I mean, it is really old. I mean, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to Rotten Tomatoes percentages.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes percentages. All right. Rotten Tomatoes percentages. For all the talking up that we've been doing of the first one, I want you to keep in mind that the first Fantastic Beasts movie got a 74%.
By critics?
By critics, which is one of the lower of
got
the whole
higher by audience, right?
Harry Potter, 78. So not that much higher. Of the whole Harry Potter movie
universe,
stuff. And so keep that in mind.
Idea.
You can go first.
Okay. I'm going to say 87% from critics.
Wow.
They're going to bump it up. They're going to be like, what have we been waiting for? Why are we... I think they were being harsher on it than they needed to be because they were comparing it to a great series of movies. You can't compare one movie to a whole series of movies. It's not fair. And also, Jude Law. I mean, people freaking love Jude Law, especially critics. They eat him up.
They eat him up?
Yeah, he's not like a goofy... He's always taken seriously.
That's probably why Alfie got such a high score. And Repo Man.
I'm sorry, but I don't know what Alfie is.
It's a movie he was in. That was a remake of an old movie.
But anyway... I'm going with that. What did I just say? 87.
You said 87%.
And audience, 89.
Wow.
The people who are going to see this movie are the people who liked it last time. My friends aren't even going to see it.
No, you don't think every Harry Potter fan is going to go see it?
No, my friends have said that they're not going to go see it. They didn't like
liars.
the first one.
I've said that about multiple Spider-Man movies.
That's true, and then you always do see them. I'm just saying, I think that the people, at least they're going to know what they're getting into now a little bit. It's a totally different feel. I think one of the main reasons it's a totally different feel is because they're not kids. They're adults.
Right.
It's a whole different thing. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what you think?
I think that it's going to be a 76.
Fair enough. Just same as last time?
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Even Stevens?
I think it's going to be similar. I think all the good stuff about it is going to be the same good stuff, and the bad stuff is going to be the same bad stuff. And I think that this whole series will just be one that is, just fun.
And so it just gets a fun rating.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, go see it. It was fun. But I think it deserves better than that.
I think that you're right, though, that the audience will give it higher. I think the audience will give it 82.
Yeah, I think it deserves better than that, than the 70s. I think it deserves to be in the 80s. I mean, some movies that get in the 80s are just like, what?
It's kind of a style that, like I said, even though J.K. Rowling's unique and, the way they do this is kind of unique in the sense that it's a kid's movie that's really dark. I think that people are kind of tired of Harry Potter. Just people who People who really like the movies and never even heard of the books or anything are
never even heard of.
Or didn't read it at all or anything. Because
I think everyone's heard of the books.
But like my parents had no idea. Well, my mom probably did, but my dad had no idea what Harry Potter was or whatever
until it came out in theater. But
yeah.
then once he did, I'm sure he realized and found out that there were books.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
yeah, I know what you mean. So the movie fans,
people who like the movies,
the casual Harry Potter fans,
are like, and so those are the people that made the movies what.
Well, this is coming from somebody
sensation that they were.
This is coming from somebody who is, has declared himself not a fan of fantasy. Right?
Yeah.
So you
more of the knights and dragons type thing.
But you look at this and you go, but because she's such a good writer, you still like it. Like, you would not normally be into this.
Right. If there was just a movie about wizards that came out, I wouldn't be into it.
And it wasn't written so well and so amazing. Yeah, I mean, she's great at creating a whole new world. A whole new world.
Wow.
And she's also great at creating character development and these fun dynamics. And so I think it deserves better than it's going to get probably, but that's why I went ahead and just was hopeful for it.
All right. Well, I think that's a good wrap up. We both think that it's going to be really good and fun and that you should go see it.
And definitely see the last one if you haven't yet.
If you like this, you can go review, rate, subscribe on iTunes. You can go to our website, mttpodcast.com. You can go to our Twitter at mttpodcast. You can go see us on Facebook. Type in Movie Trailer Trash Podcast. You can go to other things, right?
You can go to our Instagram.
Oh, yeah, at Movie Trailer Trash.
So check us out, please. Tell your friends about us. We're always talking about movies, guys.
Absolutely.
We got lots of blogs and articles on our website.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's lots of other fun things. Sometimes Charlie will put up a fun movie quiz on our Instagram. So if you're into that, that's the place to do it.
And also, you can always follow Entertainment Buffet at Entertainment Buffet and subscribe to their YouTube channel as well.
All right. Thank you, guys. We will see you next time.
Goodbye.